All right, guys, what we got is a 2019 standard Talon two-seater. We just recently pulled the subtrans due to stripping the reverse gear. I made this video because when I decided to take on this job myself, there was not much information out there. Nobody seems to make videos on any major repairs, but they'll dang sure post some videos about how to change the tires or put a snorkel kit on, even though I built that one myself, just bought the tip. It's a pretty extensive job. To get it this far, I think I've turned wrenches for 6, close to 7 hours, but she's out, sitting over there. So I wanted to explain, if you go by the book, you will be here a lot longer. As for pulling the drive shaft, you do not have to pull everything out that the book calls for. What you do, you go ahead and pull your axles out, spread everything apart like you were just going to change your axles, unbolt the diff, plug-ins, all that good stuff. Then you got to get the 2 halos on the drive shaft off. And I believe that's why the book calls for such an extensive repair, because the bolt on the halo that's literally right behind here is almost impossible to get to. But if you take a pry bar and pry up in about that area, you can get to that bolt with a shallow well 12. It may take you a while to get it out with a bunch of half-turn turns because of how tight it is, but that's going to save you close to 4 hours. And once you get that out, you come in, pull your seats, firewall, center console, all that good stuff, and you'll expose the subtrans. You got 2 studs. I recommend getting the studs out first, leaving the rest of the bolts in. No matter of fact, we found it easier to go ahead and pull all the bolts and slide the subtrans forward on the studs, giving you enough room to pull the rear drive shaft without actually having to unbolt the rear diff. When you slide that subtrans forward, it gives you just enough clearance to pull the spring and the rear drive shaft right out, no problem. So then what you find is trying to pull the studs with the weight of the subtrans on the studs, that it's almost impossible to get it to come out. So I recommend bolting it back to the motor to get the weight off, then double nutting the studs and backing them out. They're not Honda red Loctite it in or nothing like that. Come out pretty easy once you get that weight off. And then that bad boy slide right out the bottom, no problem. Like I said, it takes about 7 hours worth of straight turning wrenches, popping plugs or push pins. And that's pretty much it. There she is, and I'll be putting the new one back in as soon as it gets here.